Welcome to Let Nature Guide You, Wednesday's meditation. Let's just take some breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, allowing the breath to seep in like a beautiful soft stream, and allowing it to release just as gently, watching the river of your breath flow in and out effortlessly. Welcome to our time with water today, with the water element. So as you feel your breath flow in and out of your body, as you feel your belly rise and fall, I'd like you to place your hands on your belly, on your chest, or perhaps one on the chest and one on the belly. And just feel this rhythmic, gentle rise and fall of the breath in the cavity of your body. Feeling the expansion and the loosening. Feeling this rhythm innate to you. This rhythm that has been with you since your first day here on this planet and will accompany you until your very last. Listening to the very subtle sound of this air flowing into your body and out again. The gentlest of lullabies, made by your own structure. And as you breathe and come into full presence here in this moment, I'd like you to move outside your body. If you're a visual person, you can see yourself moving outside your body. And if you're a sensory feeling person, you just feel that. Not necessarily a separation, but just an added perspective. And watching yourself start to walk forward in your mind. And you begin to step into a vast open space ahead of you. And as you step farther into this space, you start to hear the crunch of sand granules underneath your feet. And you can feel the heat and the dustiness of the soil underneath your feet. And as you look out upon the horizon, all you see is this vast desert. And perhaps this isn't even a desert, because there is very little life here that is visible to the eye. As you walk along, you start to hear and feel the ground crunching beneath your feet, and you peek down and notice that the ground is striated, as if this was once one large lake bed, or perhaps a riverbed that has been dried up since. You feel the heat on your skin, and in fact, you may even feel your skin beginning to tighten with the dryness of this environment. And as you walk forward, as you step forward in this arid landscape, you feel an aridness grow in your body, as if the landscape is sucking the last strips of water, of moisture out of your own body in its desire for rehydration. And as you step along this dried riverbed, this barren landscape, you're feeling the brittle pieces of dried soil crunch and break under your feet, disintegrate into many granules of sand. And as you inhale, you breathe in this dry air that, although warming to the body, can feel it sucking the water, the moisture out of you. And you begin to feel a brittleness in your own physical body, perhaps even a brittleness in your emotions as you continue forward in this landscape. So barren, so devoid of moisture and water. You start to feel a little agitated and irritated. And for anyone who's ever experienced the Santa Ana winds, the dry fall winds of Southern California and many places around the world have their equivalent, you know this feeling. An agitation, an irritability, an edginess, the softness leaves us, and the rounded shapes that water creates start to become hard angles within you, without you. And as you continue walking forward, you notice that on the horizon looks to be a large body of water, perhaps some weather coming in too. And as you walk, you start to smell the moisture in the air. You start to feel that close hug of humidity on the skin, around the body. And the dirt underneath your feet begins to soften, coagulate. Become moist and give way under the feet as you step. And on the nose, you start to smell this beautiful briny smell, the smell of the ocean. As you keep stepping forward, you step into soft sand, and you see the edge of the ocean out ahead of you. And above you, the sky has darkened. Clouds have gathered in the once open sky of the desert. And there is a rumbling. There is a wind picking up, gathering the clouds, starting to whip up the ocean that you are getting closer to. And as you gaze at this ocean, the waves are starting to be whipped up by this wind and this weather. And while it's relieving to feel this moisture on your skin, starting to feel hydrated again by this connection to water, there is a heaviness or an intensity to this landscape. And as you get closer to this ocean, the waves begin to grow and be whipped up even more. And you can hear the crashing against the sea shelf. You can hear the crashing against some rocks along the ocean's shore. You see, and now you're close enough to even feel the spray of the waves crashing, the thunderous roar of them as they grow in size and intensity. And you feel yourself, although standing apart from the ocean, you feel yourself moved by these waves, rocked back and forth by their energy and intimidated by their intensity. And they're rolling and crashing and swaying to and fro, sucking back into itself and projecting once more. And the big waves of the ocean almost feel as if they're in your heart, as if your body feels unsteady with this dramatic jumping and swaying and rolling and thundering. And in this storm that you're watching across the water, you see the waves rolling in and rolling out. A constant flow. And you feel almost ungrounded by it. So you decide to step on, to walk on forward on this path. And as you begin to step away from this shoreline, you step away from the storm. The clouds begin to part again. And as you step out of this sandy environment, you step onto soft, moist soil. Perhaps there's bits of moss under your feet as well. And as you're walking forward and leaving this storm and these wild waves behind you, the moisture stays with you. That soft embrace of humidity stays with you. And as you step forward, you can hear the trickle, the bubble of a stream that must be nearby. And you start to see more and more foliage growing, gathering around you. It almost seems as if the trees and the shrubs and the bushes are growing up around you as you step forward. And you begin to smell more and more life around you, the smells of your favorite flowers or your favorite trees, the smell of moist soil, the smell of wet rocks, and the ground is soft and welcoming under your feet. You can hear birds chit-chatting in the trees around you, bidding you to keep stepping forward toward this beautiful stream. And perhaps you notice an animal friend peeking out between the bushes. Or you notice a lizard skittering around on the rocks beside you. And you feel more and more life is present in this environment. And as you step forward, you finally can see the edge of this beautiful stream, this bubbling brook. And you walk up right to its edge, and there happens to be a perfect large stone that is asking you to take a seat next to this stream. And you gratefully sit down on this stone after this long walk through the arid desert and by the wild ocean, feeling a sense of relief wash over you. Your muscles begin to relax. Your stomach relaxes. Your eyes relax. And you realize how much tension you must have been holding in different ways as you walked through those other two landscapes. You feel that relief of fullness that was absent as you walked through the dry riverbed or the desert. And you feel an evenness that you were not able to feel next to the wild ocean. And you look out upon this beautiful stream flowing, winding through this beautiful forest landscape. And you watch as the water twirls around this rock and that stone, as the water flows into this deep pool, fills and flows out and drains again, fills and flows and fills and flows, eddies, fills and drains again. This beautiful rhythm that happens so organically, so naturally. It begins to remind you of your breath. How gently your breath flows into your body and how gently it flows out again. And the soft, crystalline surface of this water flows, seems to have a conversation with everything that it passes, not seeming to get stuck in any one of those conversations, but simply greeting and flowing with that energy and knowing when it's time to flow on to the next. And you can see how the water doesn't seem to get stuck anywhere. While it pools, you can feel how that pooling is necessary given the landscape, and that the pooling has its own rhythm, knows when to drain and knows when to fill, and accepts the pooling and accepts the draining again, accepts the flow. You see how this beautiful stream accepts everything within it, everything that it meets as it flows. It's not getting mad at that rock in its way. It's just stunning to see how this beautiful water meets each stone, connects with it, flows with it, around it, over it, and continues right on its way. And perhaps the stone is what helps it move on in terms of direction or momentum. The stream has myriad relationships within it as it flows past, and everything seems to meet and connect and flow in the perfect timing and the perfect manner. And as you take in all of these sensory elements, the smells of this beautiful stream environment, the feeling, the sounds, you sigh a great sigh of relief, a relief at this evenness, this flow, this lack of stagnation, this fullness of this water that is life. But a fullness that is not swayed by this emotion and that emotion. It's just an even fullness, a contented fullness. And you see that contentment reflected in the water as it flows. It's happy to pool, happy to fill, happy to drain, happy to flow on, happy to meet this tree branch, happy to meet this stone, happy to meet this other element of the environment, happy to connect with it and happy to move on. Take a few breaths, watching or feeling, sensing this beautiful babbling brook by your feet. And perhaps as you breathe, you'd like to step into this babbling brook with your bare feet and connect with this flowing stream. Feel the flow in your body. And as you stand by this stream's edge or remain seated on this beautiful stone at its edge, I'd like you to, in your mind's eye or in this moment, lift your hands up to about waist level with your palms facing downward. And as you breathe in, I'd like you to allow your hands to float upward with the breath. And as you exhale, allowing the hands to float back down gently, softly. Inhaling, allowing the hands to rise. Exhale, allowing the hands to float down. And as you inhale, I'd like you to imagine filling the body with compassion, with love, filling every cell with these beautiful emotions. Seeing this compassion fill each cell or feeling it. As you exhale, allowing this emotion to spread over the body and throughout the energy field around you. Drawing compassion into every corner, into the ears, into the toes, up the spine. And as you feel immersed in love and compassion, on your exhale, I would like you to see this energy expanding out beyond you. As you breathe and float the hands, imagining the hands as creating ripples in this energy. And as you exhale, seeing compassion ripple out in every direction around you, into the environment, down the stream, up through the trees and out into the atmosphere, down into the soil beneath your feet. As you inhale, breathing compassion into your body, and as you exhale, sending it out in infinite ripples, seeing this beautiful compassion spread out as far as is comfortable for you today. Perhaps just to this environment that you're in, perhaps this energy envelops the entire planet. And you do what feels right to you in this moment. Your body, your energy knows how far it has to extend today. Trusting that this compassion is flowing not only through every cell in your body, but wherever else it's needed around you. You don't need to know where to send it. And then beginning to draw this energy back into your body. Taking a few more breaths to make sure that you have filled every aspect of yourself with this compassion, this love, this joy. And coming back to a gentle seeping breath in and out, and allowing the hands to relax in your lap or at your sides. Water flows love and compassion into our lives. And if you ever feel disconnected with the water element or disconnected with love and compassion, be it self-compassion or outward compassion, take a shower, take a bath, bring the water into your life, drink a delicious glass of water, or use this floating love exercise to bring more of that into your body. Bring that flow and that softness, that acceptance. The wisdom of water. And I wish you flow and fluidity and love and compassion and ease, relief and acceptance throughout the rest of your week. Wishing you all much love.